This video is about how to add file uploading to your application with React and Vercel serverless functions. So let's get into it. I use Claude to vibe code this lovely contact form right here. And as you can see right now, it has name, email, and address, random. Okay. We are going to be using Vercel serverless functions, so you have to run Vercel in dev mode. So we're going to run this in Vercel dev. And what we want is we want to allow the people filling out this form to include a file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our React code and we are going to add that. So here are the form groups for the form, and we are going to add a file input right here. So a file input is an HTML input. So it's input type equals file. We are going to do name equals file. And then we're going to give it accept because we're only going to take images right now. So it's image \* to accept all images. And then we got to close this tag, of course. And if we go back to our web browser, you'll see now we have a choose file. So if I click on that and I pick an image, this adorable AI generated dog, and I add it, you'll see that it was added. Of course, we're not doing anything with this image yet. This is still kind of useless to us, but this is a first step. All right, so let's go back into here, and in our image tag, we need to respond to the onChange event. Whoa, my browser or my IDE is so smart. So yeah, I'm going to do onChange, and I'm going to create a function called handle change up here. So let's go up here and do that. So handle change, whoops, handle change equals E. Usually it fills this, okay. So what do we want to do in our handle change? First, let's just make sure we are actually getting the file. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So we want to get a target, e.target console.log, target just .files, to make sure that we're getting it. So let's take a look. And let's clear these out. Let's refresh just to clear out all of that. And let's add a different file just so you can feel confident. Let's add this pretty flower. And we're going to add that, and there we go. You'll see it actually returns a file array, so you can modify this handling to accept multiple files. So it's going to send us this file array. But again, we still only have this file on the client. So we need a way to actually save this file in storage. So let's talk about that next. Using Vercel, you may want to use Vercel object storage, and if you go to their documentation, you'll see they have client uploads and server uploads. Server uploads are only files less than 4.5 megs, so I recommend use client uploads. What you're going to need to do first is you actually need to create a blob store. So to create a blob store, you go to your project on Vercel, you're going to go into storage here, and you're going to go connect database, and then you're going to select a blob store, which I already created. But you can see, you would just hit connect, and you would add a blob store to your Vercel application. All right, so you start there. So once you have a blob store, you're going to need to pull in your tokens. So that is, what is that? Vercel env pull. Excellent. And your token is updated. All right, so you have your keys locally. The next thing is to actually get the code to handle the upload. You can look at the Vercel documentation, and you'll see they have some code snippets here for you to use. I am not using Next.js, and I am not using TypeScript, so I'm going to copy this one that says JavaScript. First, we're going to make a file, API, let's call it upload.js, and then we are going to open it. And we are going to paste this right in here. You'll notice there's a few TypeScript things I think that they forgot to get rid of. Okay, to speed this up, I asked Claude to remove the unnecessary TypeScript and make sure this complies with the Vercel APIs. One of the things I wanted to draw your attention to is it initially had body await request.json, but that needed to be changed to request.body. And you'll see they were just using some of the wrong response down here. Okay, so we're going to accept those changes. And we're going to save that. Now we need to go back to our app.js. Oh, okay. So Claude is very aggressive, trying to tell me what to change. So let's see. I don't need to set the file, so we're going to reject that. Yes, yes, try console.log. Okay, so this is the part I wanted to show you here, where upload comes from Vercel blob client. So you need to go make sure you've added Vercel, npm add Vercel. That is in the documentation right somewhere, right here. And you need to use this upload function. So the upload function actually does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. What it's actually doing is it's actually posting to your API endpoint to get the pre-signed URL to upload the file to blob storage. So this is our API upload. Okay, that all looks correct. And the next thing, before you test this locally, again, referring to the documentation, you will see, this is kind of a little gotcha there, you can't test it with localhost. That is not allowed. You have to use ngrok. So let's start up my ngrok server. And let's go to the ngrok page. And let's first just look and see if this works. So Colleen, I wish that was my email address. Let's choose a file. Let's choose Pretty Flower. Open and submit form. Ooh, upload failed. Reading name at handle submit. Okay, something is wrong with my Claude. Auto accept. Oh, okay, so what happened was files is never set. I never set file. So that is why that's happening. If you look at the console.log file is null, right? So this is because we didn't set the file. So let's add that. We just need to set it. So let's set the file in handle change here. So let's set the file here in handle change. Set file. That's going to be target.files. First in the array, because remember it's array, and let's try it again. Let's reload just to be safe. Gmail.com, still not my email address. Let's choose file. Let's choose Pretty Flower again. Open. So we see the file here. When we hit submit, it should not be null. There it is. Starting upload, upload successful. And so Vercel is going to give you this obfuscated URL. This is the same thing I do as simple file upload. It's incredibly safe. So there's my URL of my file in my Vercel storage, and I can go actually into here and see less than a minute ago, I uploaded Pretty Flower. So I am in my React file uploads video blob, and I can see my blob storage right here. So the trickiest part of this was figuring out which methods to use from the Vercel SDK, because it was kind of unclear at first that upload is what is sent to your server, your API endpoint, to actually create the pre-signed URL, which is then given back to upload. Upload then uploads the file, and then you hear when it's successful. So all of that is kind of obfuscated from you, but you don't call fetch here. Like, it's natural to want to call fetch because you're hitting an API, and you're not doing that. So you do it to upload, and then in upload.js, what you do is you will get upload.js will call handle upload, which will take care of all of the token stuff and the pre-signed URL for you. So this took me a while. I hope that this has helped you if you want to set up blob storage. And of course, if you want easy 2-minute install, check out Simple File Upload, my product that I built so you would never have to do this again. Thanks.